Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we got a spicy one for you guys. I want to share my Astral Poets deck profile from BRO. I played in the AO region using this deck, went 5-3, very spicy, very fun deck. This was the first good V deck I built, so it's kind of got a special place in my heart. So I want to share the list with you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and or subscribe if you enjoy the video today. I know my uploads have been a little bit slower with BRO, and I've also play other games like Leaf Wash and Weiss, but we will get back to more uploads very soon, so definitely be locked into that. Let's go ahead and get into it. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of the deck, I wanted to kind of share like my mindset when playing this deck. I'm trying to sack people out. You really don't want to play long games. Think of like Bermuda with Melody if you're more familiar with that. This deck has been around for a while, so most people know about it. I think the biggest change that this deck has experienced is you want to more often than not go Force 1 rather than Force 2, because Force 1 gives you the numbers you need on your rear guards and your vanguards so that your opponent respects more than just your main win con, which is your grade 5 Valkyrion, which is 70k base. You can only place behind the vanguard. So having the extra force markers means that all your columns hit really big, and this deck is very good at a force marker acceleration or marker acceleration. So I really like Force 1 with this deck. I think especially with the new grade 3 heals, it definitely hurts this deck, especially when you're going first with this deck. So Force 1 just feels really good right now in this meta. Every single game this for the BROV, I went Force 1. Let's go ahead and dig into grade 3s. So the first grade 3 we play is we play the new Uranus. I'm actually going to zoom in for you guys here. Or not the new Uranus, but the good Uranus. This one's from the booster box. This is the origin deity of Heavenly Light Uranus. His skill, he has 2 really good skills. So when you have 3 force markers on Van, you can Soul Blast equal to grade 5, and you can call this cute card called Astral Plane behind your Vanguard, and when your Astral Plane is on board, you can place your grade 5 Valkyrion on this and do all the cool combo shenanigans and try to like beat your opponent before they either ride up to grade 3 or get their follow-up ride. Really good card, really important at 4. We also have 4 copies of, I butcher this name every time, so I'm just gonna call it Holy Heavenly Dragon. This card is really good, but its biggest problem is it does everything. So its first skill is on place. You CB1, you search your deck for up to 1 Astral Deity. Your Valkyrion is Astral Deity, so it searches out your win con, and if you do add your Valkyrion to hand, you generate a force marker, so it also helps you get to the cost for the Astral Plane. And then if you guard with this, it counts as a PG as long as you discard either an Astral Deity or any of your grade 3s, which count as Astral Poets. So an amazing card, really good. It's pretty straightforward whether or not you need to PG with this or commit this to board for skills. I also kind of forgot about Uranus' second effect. His second effect is you can rest 2 Astral Poets on board to restand your Valkyrion. So your Valkyrion will get a second attack, it'll just lose its drive checks. So 2 really good cards. These are the best grade 3s in the deck. Carry the deck 100%. We have some auxiliary grade 3s to kind of help with this combo. So we have the TD Uranus, the Gleaming Lord Uranus. On place, either it's Van or rear, you Soul Blast 2 to get an imaginary gift 4. So this is another way to generate force markers. Great if you have extra soul. And then I played 3 copies of the Astral Dragon. This card is trash. Kind of in hindsight, looking at my grade 1 and 2 counts in comparison to grade 3s, I made a lot of sacrifices to play 3 of these, so I stopped whiffing some key combos and key skills. But honestly, I'd probably cut one of this so for a 4th of Uranus, and then take these and play like more grade 1s or grade 2s, and you guys will see later in the video. I think it's important to note that for every Astral Poet Vanguard that isn't this really good grade 3, you need 5 force markers on Vanguard, which can be a little difficult sometimes. The only difference is with these, you don't have to Soul Blast to generate the Astral Plane, so it's not terrible if you have to ride the Astrios or the Holy Heavenly Dragon, because you can still get an Astral Plane off of it. It's just like if you whiff your main grade 3 ride and you brick as well, feels really bad. I only G-assisted 1 time between all of the 8 rounds, so the deck was running pretty well for me that day. And then finally, to wrap up, I guess the Morikawa part of the package, we got 4 copies of the Valkyrion. So on place, you can only place this on an Astral Plane, so this is why generating those force markers in the early game is really important, and the rest of the deck is kind of catered to that. You can, when you place it on the Astral Plane, you look at the top 5 of the deck and you send one of the cards to the drop. and it gains drive checks equal to the grade of the card you set. So either it's another Valkyrion or another grade 3. It's usually the target you want to hit, because then you'll give your Valkyrion the either 3 drives if you send the grade 3 or the 5 drives if you send the grade 5. Really good card. People can't really guard 2 of him, plus a big Vanguard and then potentially big rear guards. Most decks can't do it. This is how you steal games. This deck is definitely an expert in highway robbery. I don't play a lot of grade 2s and 1s. I played this deck very greedy for BRO, and I think, again, in hindsight, I probably want to play more of, other stuff like grade 1s and 2s. So we only play 7 grade 2s. This is because your Fervent Will is searchable. Fervent Will skill is on place, you CB1, and if you have a certain grade 1 in Soul, you draw a card on top of getting the Imaginary Gift Force. If you don't have the certain grade 1 named in skill, then you just get the Force marker. So if your opponent rushes you early and you have a bunch of these, you can generate Force markers this way, so that way you meet the requirements for the Astral Plane on your grade 3 turn. And then we also have 4 copies of Final Menace. This is a great card. When it attacks, it gains plus 5k for every single Force marker that you have on board. So since you generate a lot of Force markers, this hits really ridiculous numbers: 30k, 35k, 40k plus. Really good. And then also, if you have 3 or more Force markers on board, you CB1 to draw, so it helps you with consistency. Again, this is searchable. This helps you dig and helps you build rear guard columns in the early game. So just really good cards. Honestly, I felt like this was, I probably wouldn't play more than this unless you want to tech other stuff. But yeah. Finally, we have grade 1s, or I guess next we have grade 1s. So I play 8 grade 1s. And again, to clarify, I only G-assisted 1 time in 8 rounds. So, and the 1 time I did G-assist, I won that game. So you guys can call me a sacker in the comments if you want. It's kind of hard to refute. We got DK and we got Bacrux. Bacrux says on place, you can Soul Blast 1 and you reveal an Astral Deity or Poet. So that's any of your grade 5s or 3s. And then you search for that grade 2. So consistency, or the synergy meme, you guys know. And then you have Decay here. So on place, you put a card from your hand into Soul, and you look at the top 7, and you can add up to 2 of your grade 3 units to hand. If you add 2, then you generate a Force marker. This helps you generate the Soul requirement for your main grade 3 boss monster, and it also helps you generate the Force markers for any of your grade 3 requirements, regardless of which one you have to ride. So probably one of the best cards in the deck. The reason why I have so many grade 3s is because when I was playing like 11 and 12, I kept whiffing Decay, and then I wouldn't have enough Force marker generation to take games before my opponent got to play the game. So that's kind of why my counts are what they are right now. But starter. Does not matter what starter you play. I like Pan because reminds me of a Genshin Impact character. And then we have triggers. We play the grade 3 heals. You typically try not to guard too often in this deck. It's very matchup dependent, but the heals are really nice as it keeps you from getting rushed against cheese strats, and it also counts as a grade 3. So you can pitch the heal off the Valkyrion if you're really desperate, off that top 5 to get triple drive and hopefully try to close the game. It's definitely not the ideal target. And then finally, we play 4, 8, 12 crit, no draw PG, since we do have the grade 3 that counts as a PG. And frankly, I did play 2 draws prior to BRO, and I kept bricking. I kept hitting heals and draws and no crits, and then my opponent would just kind of Dougie on me, and I would lose games. So I said, forget it, cutting draw PGs, and we were just gonna go 12 crit. This works very well, and assuming that your opponent is not expecting a run in this, you usually can just steal games off of this. That is the deck profile. As far as techs go, I don't really have like too many techs I play. There's some cute generic Genesis cards that work very well with this deck, and I will put them on screen now. So you can use any of these cards to replace the Astraios Dragon, the grade 3 I wanted to cut. But of course, if you guys have techs that you enjoy playing in Astral Poets, please let us know in the comments below. And most of all, guys, take care of yourself. This is Gakorin TCG signing off. Peace.